morning, everybody. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Jordan.
And I'm Redneck Rita.
And we're Daniel and Jordan. And Redneck Rita. You got to get it right. It's Redneck Rita.
Redneck Rita. I'm so sorry.
Don't offend my best friend now.
Of course.
Daniel. They couldn't come up with a name, so they went with their own names. But that's the way our heroes roll, and it's gonna be okay. So sit back and enjoy, and let's welcome Daniel and Jordan. What had to rhyme? The Daniel and Jordan Show.
Boy, do we got a special treat for you. We got a brand new guest on the show. It's been a while since we've had a guest.
Yeah, it's our first one for season 2, right?
It is our first one for season 2. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Congratulations on season 2.
Thank you. We appreciate it. There wasn't much, many wins in season 1, but we've had some in season 2. So we're excited about that. But we're also excited to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited for being here.
So I'm going to introduce my best friend to kick this bad boy off, the one with the greatest looks. And today, as you can tell, he's a little redneck himself, Mr. Jordan Hunter.
What's going on? Hey, kids, don't smoke, all right? This is Redneck Rita. I saw Redneck Rita at Don's Comedy Club. It's a local club here that I think anyone should support your local comedy clubs, but they have great acts coming through all around the country. And, you know, all of us on social media, all we see is all these big names. Well, there's a lot of great talents through the local scene. And Redneck Rita is one that I found. I saw her very first show, I believe is what it was, right? So. And was that your friends came to the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of the audience was my friends.
Well, you had them cracking up, and you had me and my family who came with me cracking up. And I thought you were a hidden gem, and I couldn't believe it was your first time doing it because you were so natural. And you're from Scottsville, Kentucky, right?
That's correct, yes.
And so what made the decision to have your first comedy show?
Actually, I was with a group of friends, and we had a party, and my pickleball friends. I started playing pickleball when I retired.
Right.
And met some great people, and we were having a little party one night and just talking, and they said, "You are so funny." He said, "You need to be on stage." And it just kept going and going. And somebody sent me a link to Don's House of Comedy. And I thought, well, I'll go check it out. They're having open mic night. I thought I'll go check that out and see what this is about. So I went, and I thought, I think I can do that.
Yeah.
So I talked to Janice and told her I'd like to do an open mic, and we set it up, and luckily it was a hit.
How much time did you spend writing your jokes?
A couple of weeks. Usually I roll things around in my head for a while. Right. I don't actually write out my routine until just a few days before the show. Then I spend, like that day I spent on Friday. Before that night, I spent all day in front of the bathroom mirror with a hairbrush, practicing.
We do it at all stages in life, I guess.
Yeah.
What is the routine, or not your routine, but like, when you write your jokes out, do you just like write something that makes you remember what to say, or do you write the whole thing out? Like,
sometimes I write the whole thing out. Sometimes I just write out, that I want to talk about a particular topic. Yeah.
Gotcha. Interesting.
It takes talent to just have the topic and to know that you can get from point A to point B.
A lot of my routines are from real life experiences.
Yeah.
It's just, it's true. And there's nothing funnier than true life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a comedian on my show. His name was Ryan E. Miller, and he was telling me like everything that he writes is 100% his life, and it's just maybe turned up to 10 a little bit, you know. And because I always wanted to do comedy. I talked to Jordan. So how long was your first set?
I think 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's about normal, I guess.
Yeah.
10-minute set. Yeah. So like, I was telling him, I'm like, dude, I want to do I think I could do stand up. But then I tried to do public speaking in front of like K through 6. And I was like, just be yourself. I was so scared. But
granted, you were dressed up as a little girl with a
yeah. That is true. That is true.
I can see that.
Yeah. Walking in looking like a clown, grown people there, I was a little nervous, but I feel like I could do well. Write a 10-minute thing, base it off my family, because that's what our skits that I do, is based around anyway.
You should get with Janice and do it. Open mic when she has open mic.
Yeah, Jordan would come. Support.
I'd taunt you.
I think it'd be funny.
Did you ever think about doing comedy when you were younger?
Not really. I mean, I've always been a jokester.
Right.
And I've usually pretty quick-witted. So somebody'd say something, I'd pop off something, and it kind of gets
Where did that come from? Do you have siblings growing up?
I've got a sister. She's pretty funny too. We have a little bit different sense of humor, but we're both pretty funny. And our dad had to come up with those little quips, Our mom was funny, but wasn't meaning to be funny. So,
That's perfect material.
Right.
I think it's more fun, or not more funny. More funny is probably not the proper grammar, but we're used to that here on the Daniel and Jordan show.
We're allowed to say that with Redneck Rita around here.
But with being a redneck and like from the country, I feel like you have so many funny stories.
Oh, yeah.
And it's easy to just come off as funny because it's different. It's redneck. And then imagine like going to these big cities, and like they're just like, holy shit, what is going on?
Yeah, your normal is different than their normal.
I went to New York a couple of years ago, and I'm like, wow.
They wouldn't be able to survive down here, I don't think, personally.
No. I don't think I can.
I don't think I could survive up there either, though.
I wanted to go down and ride the subway, but I was just scared to go down there.
Yeah.
I'll go in the woods, in the dark. Doesn't bother me. But send me down in the subway, I'm like, I don't know.
That's funny. So what are you wanting to do with your comedy journey eventually?
Maybe travel around a little. I don't want to go like, if they offer me enough money, I'd go like Las Vegas or somewhere.
Don't
but
go anywhere in the world. They offer me enough money.
But I'm retired. I'm pretty settled with playing pickleball, playing golf, and doing comedy every now and then.
Right.
We have a pickleball court here, actually.
It's a complex here?
Yeah, we were supposed to have a basketball goal, so they painted the lines and everything. This is, I think, pretty racist, honestly. They didn't want the trailer park kids coming over and playing basketball because they were afraid like it would cause fights or something. I was like, that'd be cool, though. Keep our neighborhood interesting. So everybody like voted on a pickleball court. So there's basketball lines painted and a pickleball net. No goals. We do have the goals, and I guess the HOA has them or something. But
that's even
better. So do y'all play pickleball?
No, but I think I would like it. I love ping pong and I love racquetball.
Yeah, you'd like it.
I love playing with balls.
I've been known to do that a few times.
But what even got you playing pickleball?
Well, actually, my sister mentioned something when she said, when I retire, I want to learn to play pickleball. And I'm like, pickleball? What's that? And then I got to checking into it and found somebody that was giving classes.
Yeah.
And
they teach this. Wow, interesting.
Yeah, they do have classes. Giovanni Boucher does those classes, which she taught us. And I was in her very first class. And I asked a friend that I went to high school with, I said, I'm going to go learn to play pickleball. You want to go? And she said, I don't know. I'm not very athletic. So the day before I went to the class, I asked her again. She said, yeah, okay. She loves it.
Yeah,
she loves it as much as I do.
So what's the rules? Is it like ping pong? Have you ever played ping pong?
Yeah, it's kind of like...
It's like
tennis?
Standing on the ping pong table is what it's like.
Right, yeah.
It's exactly what it's like.
It's
kind of like tennis, though?
Kind of like tennis. Keeping score is a little difficult. It takes a while to learn that.
Is it like 1-and-1? Or is it like cornhole where you get you get one in a hole and you get 3?
No, it's 1-and-1.
1-and-1.
Yeah, and you have to be serving to...
Gotcha.
And
so you play like 2-on-2 or 1-on-1?
2-on-2.
Interesting.
How good are you?
I'm fair.
We're about to put her to the test. We got a pickleball court here, baby. No, I would be terrible. I'd be like, I would lose count.
I got my paddle
honestly.
in the car.
I got a paddle upstairs.
We can swim out there. We can swim out there to the courts and see what we can do.
Rita, I got to tell you, you can't say paddle around my best friend, okay? Gets a little nervous.
Can we take a break?
I love it.
After you contacted me, I get the message, somebody wants to contact me on Instagram. And so I said, yeah, okay. And it was you. And we set this up. And then I got to thinking, what if this is not legit? I'm going to go to somebody's house.
Are you still thinking it's not legit?
Well, his wife's in there, so I think I'm okay.
Yeah.
If it was just two dudes in a weird place,
there'd be a lot more paddles around.
Yeah. So, what was your thoughts like when you opened the message? Because we just create the content. We don't really speak to a lot of people that watch our stuff or are interested. But what was the first initial thoughts that went through?
After I saw that, I thought, I've never been on a podcast before. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
be my virgin journey.
And how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I am 67.
Never been with a 67-year-old virgin. That's first time for everything.
Amen, brother. I have a question for you.
Okay.
What do you think makes a man a man?
Taking responsibilities for his actions is one of the main things.
Okay.
Respecting the other person.
So it's not about necessarily what he's done. I mean, and it can be, but the responsibility after is the biggest thing, you
Right.
think?
Yeah. You know, if I did something wrong, then I admit I did something wrong. And, you know, I'm not one of these women of, oh, I want somebody that's got to make, you know, 6 figures and he's got to drive this kind of car and that kind of car.
Well, what is your dream man like? What's your dream man? What's he look like?
Tall.
I got some fantasies. I can tell you what my dream woman looks like.
Does it look like either of us?
Actually, it's 2 guys. And he looks just like y'all.
I love it. That's
This
so funny.
scrawny, really?
Well, yeah, that was our main question because we wanted to know how manly we were, you know?
Yeah. I know he's got the beard, and I've got, what do I got, Daniel?
We just lack in responsibilities.
That's true.
Well, you're young, you know,
yeah.
that comes with being age. You know, I've got a 16-year-old grandson that lives with me, and I'm trying to teach him to be responsible. And one day I was going to go outside to do something, which I do woodworking, and I love this table, by the way.
Thank you.
But he said, he calls me Monkey. That's my grandma's name. He said, well, Monkey, I'll just be honest with you. I just really don't like doing woodworking. I said, well, that's okay, but we're going out here to do something else. I said, a woman likes a man that can fix things around the house.
Oh, God.
Amen.
And he
You're
said,
fucked.
he said, well, I said, what are you going to do when you get out on your own? He said, well, I'll just hire somebody. And I said, well, what if you don't have the money? And I said, besides the fact, it's hard to get people to come to do something, especially a small job. I said, you need to learn how to put a hinge on the door or, you know.
Oh, no.
Where do you start, Jordan?
Yeah, which one have I failed at as a man? My fiance, so we had a fire, or one of our alarms, smoke alarms, going off, and it was dead. Couldn't work. I had to go to the store to get a new one. Went to the store, bought a new one, $40. I was pissed. I was already pissed. Brought it home, didn't fit. So then, I don't know, 2 weeks passed. She had to get on to me to go to the store to return it. Finally, I went and returned it, came back with it. We got up there, and I realized you got to undo the screws. And you have to drill a hole, do a new screw, put it up there. And I had forgotten. A week later, I found out she had put it up there herself. Do you think I'm in trouble?
Maybe.
His mom's been telling him he's in trouble for many years.
And I'm not. I blame a lot of it. It's like I just didn't. I don't know if it's like I'm a third son or I'm the little brother. I didn't have responsibilities growing
baby.
up. I'm the baby. I don't know what to do.
They gave up on you.
Yeah. and I've learned over the time of like, and fortunately she's been so patient with me that I've learned to take on the responsibilities of these things and to do better. But I lack the knowledge on how to do housework. I do mow the lawn.
That's good. Take the trash out?
I take the trash out.
Does she have to tell you? Or do you see that?
Sometimes she tells me, yes,
We
take
had
the
this
trash
conversation
out.
the other day.
Give me a little tip.
I lost my
When
cigarette.
she says, I need you to take the trash out, she needs it taken out now, not
Damn, my
4
wife
hours
says the
later.
same
Yeah, well,
thing.
that's what
We've talked about that.
me and Katie had a thing where we sat down and I was like, I just need to know what my chores are every week. This way, you can't be like, if it's something where it's like, if I saw it, I have to do it right now thing. It won't. I'm too mindless or something. If I know that I have a schedule and it's like, you tell me to do it right now, I can do it. But if it's like, example, taking the trash can out to the road every Tuesday, I told her I can do daily things. Like it's like, if I lock it into a schedule daily, the weekly, I have forgotten by the next time the week has come around to do it.
I'm the same way. You know, Whitney, she'll ask me to take the trash out, and we're just alike in this sense. Like we're so zoned in on what we're doing in the moment. So when she's like, "Hey, take out the trash," I'm like, "Okay, I will in just a second." But like you said, I need to do it, and we've talked about this on the show before.
Just a week or two ago,
Yeah.
you know, we do words of the week, and what was the word of the week that week? We were talking about bitch moaning.
Yeah, bitch whining. Yeah,
Whining, because we're very, you know, she tells us it used to be when I was young, a little younger, was more like groaning and and I'll do it, but I'm not going to do it with a good attitude.
Or when you get up, you're like, shh, I guess.
Yeah.
You know.
And we're talking about how that's just a bad habit that needs to be nipped in the butt. The attitude is where it starts, because even if I do it with a bad attitude, that just snowballs it into a problem, a fight probably later tonight because you're in bad attitudes. Yeah. Where were we going with that? I'm sorry. I'm thinking about my relationship and how I'm going to have a divorce probably.
He's like, I'm not a man.
I'm seeing my future. I've seen Kaney sitting there right now.
Well, see, we ask you to do something.
Yeah.
And nobody does it that helps. And then you ask and nobody helps. And then we have a conniption fit and they're like, why are you yelling?
So it's not just my wife.
Yeah,
it's all women.
This is,
it makes sense.
It's all of us.
Yeah.
My grandson, I've asked him for a month, turn your clothes right side out when you take them off. Well, see, he will.
What does that do for you?
It saves me time.
For why you got to turn right side out?
Well,
for what, the laundry?
Yeah.
Oh.
The laundry. You know,
to
when you take
cleaner.
your clothes off, I don't know. I guess they don't have to be that way. But, okay, so after about a month, I did his laundry one day, and however it was done, I washed it that way. And when it came out of the dryer, several of his shirts were inside out. I folded them up that way. His one pair of pants had one leg out, one leg in. I folded them up that way.
Makes sense.
So when he came downstairs, I said, your laundry's done. I said, I did it, folded it up just like you left it. And he said, well, now I think you're just being petty.
This is your grandson.
Yeah. I said, no, I've asked you for a month to turn them right side out. And I said, you haven't, so I just assume you want them this way.
Oh, she's like, you want to see Betty? I'll show you Betty.
So he spent about 5 minutes turning them right side out. I'm like, see how long that took you? But if you took those pants off, it would take like 2 seconds to pull that leg back through where it goes.
Yeah. I think men overlook the responsibilities of a woman daily just because we're so wrapped in on our own work and stuff. And I don't give my wife enough I respect her and I love her to death, but I don't give her enough respect. I don't give her the respect that she deserves. And we talked about this last episode. It's like we do that in the beginning because we're trying to win our women over. So we do everything. We cook, we clean, we take out the trash. I don't know if you did all that before that, but like...
I'm pretty honest with who I am. I told Katie when we first met, I'll never be rich.
You just don't have that drive.
Yeah, I don't have that. I don't have that. Whatever that thing is, I don't have it. I never will.
Yeah.
So,
but and we've worked on, and that's why I truly love this podcast is because we come up with that word of the week and you think about it, whether it's gratitude, whether it's whining, what's some other ones we've done in the past?
We've already forgotten them, so I don't know if it's helping at all. Well, we did vulnerability, all the things we learned when we first started learning our purpose and things that kind of help us shape us into men, I guess is what we're doing.
And it's really helped, and it like links everything together, and it's made me a better person at the end of the day. So I think it's good that you're on here because, one, we've never talked to a woman that, is older than us, better looking than us, and, just has been there and done that and been around the block in a good way. And, good
way.
Sometimes a bad way.
But, just to shape us up a little bit more,
Yeah, it's a perspective that we need. I think a lot of people need is...
and that's the thing is a lot of times men and women can't just be friends if you're in a relationship with someone else. That. Even though there's nothing going on, it just the persona of perception of what other people think. Some of my best friends are guys, and one of my best friends is one of my friends' boyfriend. We went to Eastern Kentucky to an elk hunt, spent the night on top of a mountain in a cabin together.
You went
Nothing happened, because we're friends. But I tell other people, I'm like, whoa. No, he's my friend. But it's great to have a good guy friend for me to get that male perspective.
Yeah.
Well, why do y'all do this?
Exactly. And I think a lot also generationally that there is, it's like I feel like right now we're so stuck in now. I don't know what it was like back in the day as much, but like now I feel like we're so caught up in now that we forget that a whole history of the world has happened and we came from something.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's way more truth in where we came from than where we are right now. Now, obviously, back in the day, they didn't know the internet was going to exist. So that's a little twist in the story.
I'm older than the internet.
Yeah.
Speaking of internet, this just popped in my head. Do you think in time, and we talked about this last episode, like distractions have become an issue. Like the issue with kids, I'm sure you were a kid and the way you were raised is different than the kids nowadays. Where I'm just trying to piece it together, like why people are just so rude nowadays. Do you think it's because one, the dad isn't in the household as much anymore than what it used to be? Or do you think if the dad is there, do you think it's just everybody's so distracted with phones and we have so much stuff to do nowadays, that we just a lack of parenting amongst, grown-ups nowadays?
I think it's because it's allowed.
Like it's allowed.
Nobody calls them out on it.
Yeah.
Nobody does anything about it. It's just, I see kids say things to their parents that, man, I'd be picking myself up off the floor. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, good grief, get a grip. And some of it I think is everybody's busy. Mom and dad both work. And then when they get home, they've got all this other stuff to do. And it's easier just to let kids do what they want to do than to try to correct them. Put them in front of the TV, put them in front of the screen. I don't got to worry about them. They're okay, and I can go do my thing.
Are people more busy nowadays than they were back in the day?
I think so, because when I grew up, I tell some people, I said, it's a good thing they didn't have all this transgender stuff when I was growing up, because I've always been a tomboy. Mm-hmm. But when I was young, I wanted to be a boy because I wanted to play baseball. We didn't have girls' sports.
Yeah.
Mm. I wanted to be a boy and I wanted to pee standing up because I thought that would be so cool.
Well, it's pretty fun fact. I pee sitting down and I'm a man, so.
Hilariously enough, yeah. And Kenny wishes I did because I piss in the floor half the time.
But, they've got sports. They've got baseball, basketball, football, whatever. They're doing this, that, and the other. And everybody's just so busy. I can remember when my son was playing baseball, I'd go to work, I'd come home, we'd have to go to practice and then try to get something to eat and go to practice and come home and get a bath and get them in the bed. And then tomorrow we had a game and, it's a lot. But we were kids.
It was simple back then, and,
right.
And now there's so much to do. There's so much to get your nose in, and
I think you're right about the calling out thing. I think with like the distractions, it's like we're all addicts to it all, because we're addicts to entertainment because it's a distraction from whatever responsibilities are, and none of us are calling each other out because we all like to indulge in the habit ourselves.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't know how it ends because of that.
And I think some people think you're rude when you're not being rude because people are so soft now. Mm. When I was teaching my grandson how to drive, and I said, stop. He said, don't yell at me. I said, I'm not yelling at you. And he said, well, you raised your voice. I said, yes, because I say stop, and you're just stopping. I'm going to say it again. I said, look, my daddy yelled at me when I was learning to drive till I cried. Mm-hmm. You're not crying, so you're okay.
Yeah. Right. And the concept that crying is the worst thing that can happen.
Right. You don't want nobody to cry.
Yeah.
Right.
I saw this video. I think it was last night or early this morning. I can't remember, but it was on Instagram. I was checking some messages or whatever, and it showed like parents spending time with their kids, and it showed the kid doing puzzle, but the dad was sitting there on his phone scrolling. It was showing the kid watching TV, and the dad was sitting there on his thing. Mm-hmm. And I look at that, and I'm like, damn, there's so many times where I'm doing that same thing, and that just reminds me, it's like, at the end, it says, put your phone down, pick your kids up. And I think the world is just, that's how everybody is. It's not just me. It's not just, it's my wife too. It's everybody, just because we have the accessibility of this stuff and it's so addicting, it's great. It's a great tool and there's great things that come out of it. And, people are listening to this show because it's accessible on the internet, right? So we're not saying don't watch the show, but we're saying just be mindful of that stuff, because just that video made me remember, it's like there's plenty of times where I'm supposed to be entertaining Leighton. So I entertain her with some toys, but instead of taking the time and enjoying the moment with her, I'm scrolling through Facebook, checking a message or something.
The present moment.
Yeah.
Put that phone away.
Yeah. We've talked about the present moment where it is the only thing we really have. And when your phone takes you out of the present moment, it puts you into some other space that's not here right now. And the people you are right here, right now, making a connection that you can make.
Right.
What's the most redneck thing that you do? I know that's a hard question that you have to think on.
I'll tell you one thing I did. The chain on the flapper in the toilet.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it broke. So I took a piece of fishing line
Pretty redneck.
and fixed it.
The fact that you fixed it
Yeah.
is awesome.
And I followed my daddy around all my life.
Yeah.
And my daddy could do anything. I don't remember us ever having a repairman in the house when we were little.
Right.
And so, I learned how to do a lot of things that way. But, that worked for a while until, the fishing line stretched a little. And I finally bought a chain. And about 2 weeks after that, I finally put it on. But
You must have been tearing up that toilet.
Lots of flushing going on.
there you go. But I probably one of the most redneckest thing I've done is my friend from New York that named me Redneck Rita. She said, because I liked to hunt and fish and ride a motorcycle, work on the truck, whatever. And I called her one day and I said, well, I am truly a redneck. She said, what have you done? I said, I have killed a deer with my bow. I have field dressed it. It's in the back of the truck. And I'm at Sonic eating a hamburger and I still have blood on my hands.
Dang.
So you hunt quite a bit.
I do. I hunt. I deer hunt. I turkey hunt.
Bow hunt?
I did bow hunt. I've got a shoulder that's kind of bad now. So last year I bought a crossbow. But
Crossbow.
I love bow hunting.
You know what I just realized? She's way more manly than we are.
I know. I'm learning a lot about being a man from her.
I told somebody the other day, I said, well, I had to teach both my grandsons how to be men today. And they said, what'd you do? And I said, well, my oldest one was going to go fishing with some friends. Mm-hmm. And he said, I'm going to need to take the tackle box. I said, that's okay. Just don't leave it set and bring it back. And I said, come in here a minute. He came. I said, bring me a fish hook and bring me a pole. He come in there and he said, what? And I said, I'm going to show you how to tie this on here. I said, you can't just tie a regular knot. It'll come off. Yeah. So I showed him how to tie it on there. When he came back later that day, he said, I was the only one who knew how to tie fish, tie the hook on. And they're like, wow, it's a good thing you came. He said, well, to be honest, I didn't know till about an hour ago. My grandma taught me. And one of the boys said, wait a minute. Your grandma fishes and shoots?
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
I wonder if you can relate to this. Like, is roadkill a thing, where you live or when you were younger? Because I got a funny roadkill story, and I'd love to share it with you guys. So I used to live in Litchfield, and I used to do a little deer hunting and turkey hunting up there. A little countryside came out of me. I had some pigs, had over 70-something chickens and guineas and turkeys.
Country boy.
Yeah.
I like a good country boy.
I at least looked like it. I was like a metrosexual country man, if that makes any kind of sense. I loved candles. I still fixed my hair, but I didn't mind building stuff. I built my own pig pen, my chicken coop and stuff like that. But funny story about roadkill is... getting a little thunder here.
Yeah, the tornado thing going on.
Hopefully we don't lose power. Yeah. But
best episode yet.
So I hear like this big boom, and it was like 8 o'clock at night, and I run outside, and this car's smoking. Well, they hit a doe, like in the rear of the leg, and I'm like, dang, that's a good sized doe. And I'm like, hey, are you going to take this back? Or like, are you taking this with you? So I waited till the police got there. I waited till the police and the person that got hit got towed, and they didn't take the deer. So I just took it back home and I skinned it right then. I got all the meat out.
You skinned a deer?
I skinned a couple deer, yeah.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, I got a picture of it, actually. I can try to find it. We'll pop it up somewhere, maybe around me or something. But yeah, so we got quite a bit of meat off of it. Have you ever done anything like that?
We have. It depends on where the deer's hit. Sometimes they're all bruised up, but sometimes you can get some good meat.
I got some really good. I got the best. The
you get the back strap out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best part. Well, other than the inner tenderloins.
You know what the back strap is?
Shoulder blades.
They call that the steak of the. They call that the steak of the deer world.
What part of meat is it?
It's you can make tenderloin out of it, right?
Tenderloin actually comes from the inside of the deer.
See, she knows more than me.
When you field dress it, then they're right. I mean, like here's his back legs, right inside the back legs.
Oh yeah,
it's 2 strips about so long, about so big around, and they're very, very tender.
But is the back strap real tender too, though?
Yeah, but I know what you're thinking.
What?
Right between those legs. It's real tender.
But there's 2 of them.
Real tender piece, about that long.
But the back strap is tender too.
Yeah.
Back strap is would be like what a pork chop.
Oh, okay.
Because there's the backbone, and on each side of the backbone there's a strip of meat that's.
Is really good.
Because they don't use it for anything. They don't use it to run or anything. So
it's not like
tender.
a tough muscle or anything like that.
Yes.
And it's easy to get off too. It's like one of the easier parts.
Yeah, you just start it and just.
And it's the best.
I think so.
I can skin a deer too. Skin a few.
I figured if you can use a crossbow.
We need to get a scene of y'all teaching me to do it. I feel like that would be.
I can skin a deer.
Cut.
I can fillet a fish. I can clean a turkey.
Now I haven't filleted a fish.
Oh really? Mm-mm. I love to fish.
So you cut a chicken's head off before?
I'm sorry.
Have you cut a chicken's head off before?
Cut a chicken's head off?
Is that how you kill them?
They used to do that back in the day.
I haven't done with chicken. I used to see my grandma chop it off with an axe, and then the chicken would run around in the yard, and then we'd have that chicken for supper.
Whitney's grandmother used to take them and just swirl them.
Ring them.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Can you imagine?
I don't know which one's worse.
I think wringing their necks is worse.
I think so, because it might take a minute.
That head will pop off.
Yeah, they go.
Oh my God. The different world.
Yeah. I mean,
it ain't easy being a redneck.
That's right.
Being behind closed doors for me.
One time I put my Christmas lights up with a deer stand.
Oh, really?
Yeah. By the house I was renting a
This
house.
didn't have a ladder?
Well, I had a short ladder. See, the yard went like this. So I got about halfway around and then I couldn't reach. And I thought, well, what am I going to do now? I thought, I got that deer stand around there. So I just took it, leaned it up against there, finished putting my lights up.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, redneck will find a way.
Yeah. Well, speaking of redneck, before we move on, you do know the last sound you hear from a redneck before they die, right? Hey, y'all, watch this.
Yeah, hold my beer.
Hold my beer. That's another one.
Well, I could have brought this up earlier, but the word of the week this week is integrity. And I was thinking on integrity today. My boss mentioned it because some shithead at work was doing what he wasn't supposed to be and trying to hide it. And I was thinking about it. In my mind, integrity, I guess where it really comes into crunch time is when no one's looking. What's the thoughts going on through your head on doing the right thing? Is it doing the right thing because you know that everyone's going to see this and you're going to look like a good person because you're doing it? Or are you doing it when no one's looking? You're looking at your thoughts that are potentially, maybe you're lustful, maybe you're whatever, and you're looking at those thoughts and you're thinking, well, that's not the type of person I want to be. And that's the integrity. It's almost like a relationship with yourself. Mm-hmm. And that is where you can really shape who you are and the relationships around you. And you don't get credit for it. It's nothing that you get any sort of credibility from anyone or anything or yourself or anything like that. It is strictly doing the right thing at the right time. And what do you all think integrity is? I guess is my question.
I think that's right. You don't get credit for it, but it's satisfaction for yourself that you did the right thing and you were a good person.
Right.
It's self-rewarding, that's for sure. And it's almost like it's the trust that the trust that you build in a relationship. I feel like it's that same with yourself. And it's truly shows your character, what you do when people aren't watching. Are you gonna, still behave the certain way? I tell my kids this all the time. That's like the most important thing. It's like, I understand you do this when I'm around. You may practice basketball when I'm around, or you may listen to your podcast when I'm around. But what are you doing when I'm not around? Are you still going to take the time and practice? Are you still going to take the time and become a good person? And, integrity could take you many places. I don't know what happened at work, but it shows who you truly are. Yeah. And once people see you for who you are, I feel like it goes a longer way. And then if they see you, doing the wrong stuff and they catch you doing that, then they're going to be, it's something that's hard to gain back. Mm-hmm. It's just like trust, I feel like.
Yeah, I think it can be iffy because I think when you're you have to it's like a muscle to flex. You have to build integrity inside of yourself. It's okay we're animals, so we have animal instincts of fearful, so we act out and we do all these things that I think there is a bit of shame that follows when you're younger and you have emotions and you act out on them, and then you feel shame that you don't have the integrity that you do have. So you have to I think have that conversation with yourself to practice leaning in towards it, because you aren't a perfect person. You have done bad things, and that doesn't make you have less integrity. But you need to, I think, have that conversation with yourself to say, is that the type of person I want to be? A person who acts out this way behind people's backs, but when they're looking, I am a great person. Yeah. I think a lot of people trick their minds into thinking they're people of integrity, and they're just not. You're just perceived as that. And sometimes I worry people think that of me because I try to do the right thing, and I know I for sure try way harder to do the right thing when people are watching.
Jordan, I've known you since high school, buddy. There was a time this man didn't want to go in a sex shop with me.
That is true. The one on the one right.
I wanted to go in, and he's like, guys, I don't think that's a good idea, and he didn't go in. Believe it. Honestly, your integrity has always been there, and I meant to say this earlier, but you may not be a man. I know you're a boy, like a man.
A soon-to-be man, a boy.
You're learning, but the friendship this man has and the things he would do for anybody and the knowledge he brings to the table is just, I think that's pretty manly, you know.
It is.
And he may not be like knowing how to work a power drill, nor may he never know how to work a power drill. But the friendship and the love and the knowledge, it's pretty fucking manly.
Well, I appreciate that. But and that being said, and I know people say stuff like that to me all the time, that's like where I always have that conversation of like, is that real? Or what's going on with me personally in my own time to make sure that that's not just something that I'm like, because it is really rewarding to hear people say that to me. So like, am I doing it for that? I mean, that would be a great reward to be doing it for it.
I just think you have a good moral. I mean, it's obviously how you're raised, right? I mean, his dad was a pastor who's passed, and I think a lot of it is how you're raised. And it's not just you, your whole family. I feel like, you know, your mom, your brothers, they're just good people. Right. And when you surround yourself with good people, that's just what happens naturally.
Right. And then it's just luck in that sense too, right? I mean, it is, right? And that's where like gratefulness has to come in, which we've had as the word the week before.
You got to be humble about it
because I don't deserve any credit for any of that. I was just born into something that just was as my buddies all say, I'm the luckiest boy in the world. It's like everything that happens, but it's not luck. It's good people being around me, raising me into a situation that were good to where I end up around great people, you know.
But you have to take some credit for yourself, because some people do not have that guidance.
That's
and
true.
they still have a lot of integrity. Maybe they've seen people that didn't have it and made them want to
learn from it.
Learn from it. And, you know, we all made integrity is something that builds.
Yeah.
You know, you may do something today and think, you know, that probably wasn't the right thing to do. That didn't make me feel good.
Yeah.
So then the next time that situation comes up, you do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I've always told my son, he said something one day about, well, I don't know what to do. I said, son, you know what to do.
Yeah.
You know what the right thing to do is. And I said, if the right thing to do was easy, everybody'd do it. It's not always easy to do the right thing. Sometimes you lose friends over doing the right thing.
Yeah. I think the society we're into with like, y'all bring up money all the time, but making money is like you get put in these conundrums where it's like I can make money, but the right thing to do would be to do the thing that doesn't make more money, but it's the better thing to have a better relationship with people or something. You have to hold more value in than money, and that can be anything that you hold, you know, your reputation, whatever. We always want those things that matter to us personally. They're really hard to sacrifice those things for the thing that's actually for the better for the whole group. And that's the hard decision.
But if people know you, and this was a situation with my grandson, somebody had said something about him, tried to say that he'd done things that he hadn't done or whatever. But I said, don't worry about it, because the people that know you know you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's huge.
And the people that's going to believe that, you don't want to be friends with them anyway. You want people to know the truth.
Yeah. I went through a big incident like that probably about a little over a year ago or so. And, you know, that's just something I had to tell myself. And Whitney had to remind me. It's like, Daniel, the people who know you for who you are and why this or why that. The people that have something to say, are they really worth keeping around? And then when you look at it, it's like,
that
no.
But sometimes you just have to have somebody point that out to you.
Yeah, because you're so in your head all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about the sex shop.
Yeah, I'm glad we're back on this topic.
God, all right.
A group of high school friends, we get together about once a month. You know, we've reconnected and we try to stay connected. So we were always looking for things to do together. And I said, oh, here the Thunder Down Under guys are going to be so-and-so, you know, where, and I just said it's
Thunder Down Under?
You know, like the stripper guys.
No, I'll have to look them up.
Male Review or whatever.
Yeah, that's what they're called. Yeah.
All
so
male
they
review.
go around and perform?
Chuck it.
Yeah.
What is it? Chippendales? Chippendales,
Well,
yeah.
it's like Chippendales, but it's like
It's the redneck version.
generic brand. You know?
The Thunder Down Under.
Yeah. So I said, well, we can go see that. And one girl, which she's a very sweet, very religious girl, and she said, I just can't. And I said, oh, come on, it'll be fun. And she said, I can't do that. Said, if Jesus was to come back then, I can't be there.
I can't be caught around.
And
that.
I probably was like that back then.
Yeah.
I'd probably go in nowadays, but I think it was a religious thing for me too back then, and it's weird because like that has the whole vibe of like in denial of my just like sexual urges, I guess.
I'll have to tell you, you missed out.
Yeah, no, it's a huge regret in my life. Yeah. It's not going in there.
There's lots of huge regrets in there too. I tell you that.
See, they have these parties for women where they come to your house and you invite these friends.
Thunder guys?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's called a surprise party, isn't it?
Yeah, surprise party.
My mom used to do them to be
or pure romance or whatever.
Pure romance.
They have products
That's a
that
thing.
you can purchase in your home rather than having to go to a sex shop.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So,
I thought this was like the men coming to the house and they were doing stuff for y'all.
One of the ladies that was doing that, she said, one of my best customers is a Baptist preacher's wife.
Yeah.
It's like, you know.
Yep.
They are freaky.
They are freaky.
I got a funny story about that. So my mom did these surprise parties.
I remember you finding her stuff back in the day.
Yeah, I have to tell you this. I was in her like side nightstand drawer.
Uh-oh.
And note to anybody listening, don't go through your parents' nightstands, okay? You find crazy things, or at least I did back in the, when I lived at home.
I think I'd find one now in my mom's.
So I found this like bottle and it said cupcake something. And I guess it was lube that was flavored. And I did what any curious person would do. So I smelled it and I was like, man, that smells really good. And then I did what more curious people do. I tasted it. And boy,
cupcake.
They nailed the flavor. They nailed the flavor. I tell you that. It was good.
Ooh.
And did you tell your mom about it?
Oh God, no. She'll probably find out now. But there was other times where like mom says there was a drawer or something. I was trying to find a straw. I guess we went out to eat and the straws weren't in the bag. And I was like, they left the straws out. And she's like, oh, there's some straws in the side drawer in the kitchen. So I go in the kitchen. They were penis straws. Like they literally, like they have.
What are those even doing? In
it's
drawer?
like
what is
it was from the Pure Romance party.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
so a bridal shower.
Yeah, bridal shower. But it was a straw, and then at the very tip was a little wiener about this big. And speaking of wiener, I wanted to ask you about the first time you saw your first wiener because I heard a small clip about it, and I didn't get the full story. So all I got was he was in second grade.
Yeah. I was in the second grade. And me and the little boy next door were playing outside. And I don't know how it came about, but whether it was like, I'll show you mine, you show me yours or whatever. But he pulls his pants down, and I'm like, God, that thing's ugly. He wasn't circumcised. Because at that time, I didn't know the difference. Mm-hmm. But I thought, I didn't show him mine. But, I'm like, I've always been obsessed with them. I'm like, them things are just, they...
You're jealous.
I'm jealous.
That's what it comes down to, jealousy.
Do you think it's worth it having one, or?
Well, I don't know. I would think that I don't know. I did have that question one time at work. I asked the girls. I said, if you woke up in the morning and you were a man instead of a woman, what's the first thing you would do?
Yeah.
What does a woman's mind do?
I would do probably what y'all would do first thing in the morning. One of them said, well, I don't nobody know about it.
I tell you what, I would be able to walk the next day if I was a female because I just want to know what it feels like.
Well, that's I would just want to know what it feels like.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what it's like.
I
asked my ex-husband one time to try to describe the feeling. He's like, I can't.
Yeah, it's something. It is weird. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's a controller.
It does control you.
It's a controller.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, it makes you make some weird decisions,
Absolutely.
some bad decisions.
One body's the game, and that's the joystick.
When boys grow up, they're really good boys till they get them some the first time, and then their brains turn to semen.
Yeah.
It's just like everything you've taught them is just gone.
You hear that up there?
And it stays gone for about 4 or 5 years, and then finally a little bit of sense starts coming back.
Yeah.
But all the mistakes are coming back. So what's happening?
They're still there.
Consequences is what's happening. That's what wakes them up.
Yeah. I'm 33, and I've learned a lot of lessons. And I always tell people what we talk about on here is 33 years of mess ups. I'm able to help people now. Like, hey, this is what's helped me. Don't make this decision. Don't make this mistake because I've been there and I've done it, you know?
And they ain't going to listen, like we've always said.
Right.
People
And that's
just learn
okay.
through their own
People say, why
experience.
didn't you tell me? Or my son said, why didn't you tell me? I did. You didn't listen.
We don't listen. That's the thing I think is kind of freaky about like the internet age now. It's like things live on forever, and we also paint the picture of being perfect. So like these kids grow up trying to hide all this awfulness about themselves in this corner of the world, and they don't realize how normal it is to be making all kinds of mistakes in your life.
Right, but everything that they do is put out there. I mean, thank God I grew up without the internet, you know.
Right.
You'd be viral.
You'd be viral, yeah.
I'll tell you one thing that probably would have went viral is my best friend's daughter was getting married, and we were meeting downtown for dinner, and then we were going to hit the bars and stuff. And so my friend called. She said, I need you to do me a favor. I said, what? And she said, I need you to go to Spencer's and buy that boyfriend doll.
Boyfriend doll?
It's a boyfriend. It's a blow-up doll.
Blow-up doll, okay.
Yeah, and she said, buy that. And I need you to inflate it before you get here to the restaurant. I'm like, okay. I mean, it's my best friend. So I go buy it, and then I go to the gas station, and I put the money in the, and here I am. And the,
Oh, God.
you
You use the tire thing to, like...
well, I mean, I could roll it
Use
up.
the tire thing to pump it up?
Yes. It was too big. They had the little pump. I thought, I'm going to be here forever doing this. And then I'm in the car doing like this, you know, trying to pump it up. Yeah, I tried that, and it was in his bag. So, so
Thank God.
yeah. But so I'm out there, and I've got the hose in there, and I've inflated it, and I'm looking around, and here I'm behind it, and he's bent over, and I'm thinking, my God, I hope they don't have a camera out here, and I hope nobody I know pulls
It
out.
would be
He's
viral.
blowing up, and
Yeah.
it's just the...
I think you're right.
They didn't have that on there.
It didn't have a-
They drew that on there after we got to the restaurant.
They drew
That's
it
so
on.
funny. That would
That's
have
funny.
went viral.
Yeah.
for
Lordy.
sure.
Good.
Well, I'd love to tell you a little something that it's been pissing me off lately. Something that just makes me want to run my fist down my own throat and out my ass. Or in other words, we like to say,
What twists our nips?
"Ow!"
What's your nips, buddy?
She said, "So what?" My cat. You met him, Zeus.
Yeah.
You met Zeus. He's a lover. He's a fat ass. He's lazy. He's
beautiful.
He's beautiful. But the little fucker's annoying. I will tell you that. So, do you have any cats, or have you ever had?
I have had cats.
So cats are just so curious. They're very curious, and Zeus is curious, and he's still a kitten. He's only like 8 months, I think. He's not even a year old yet. And every time I go to the bathroom, this cat wants to see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm peeing the other night, and I'm wearing blue shorts. I'm peeing. All of a sudden, I hear the door open. He just busts right in, busts in. I'm peeing, and of course, the first thing he does is he walks over, sees what's going on, and when cats walk up to you, they throw their tail at you, like, like, hey, smell my ass,
Just wipe my ass.
something. So he walks in, he looks, sees me pee, and I'm like, damn it, Zeus. And I'm trying to pee. I'm midstream. And, at 33, it's hard to stop midstream.
Yeah.
So kind of kick him away with my foot, and his tail, does that. Well, it hits the stream. Hits the stream. And then he proceeds to rub on me. And then I don't get back. I get back in here, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why is my pants wet? He rubbed piss all over my leg. My own piss all over my leg. I mean, they're right when they say curiosity killed the cat.
He's getting bigger too. So
He's getting bigger, and the
tail is massive.
His tail is huge. They say the tail on a Maine Coon is the same size of its body. So as big as he is, the tail will grow the same size.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be, what's the max size?
I think
he's
they
supposed to be at?
like 45 pounds or something.
45 pounds. Like, I guess you don't know how tall it would be, but that's a big cat.
Yeah, I mean, they say they stopped growing at like 7 years. 7 or 8 years.
7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, that like he won't be fully grown until he's 7.
Sounds like me. In cat years, how long is it?
And he's annoying. That's the one thing that's just been pissing me off this week, or pissing on me.
Nice.
I would say better be pissed off than pissed on.
That's true. I did. I got both. There's nothing like it. Hey, what's the one thing this week or in the past couple weeks that's really twisted your nips?
What's his name?
I don't look for guys anymore because I don't trust my judgment.
It's you. Okay. You finally learned it was you, not them.
I've got bad judgment. You know what I
Self-growth. I love it.
What I like is not good for me. So I just don't even go there anymore.
Yeah, okay.
Honestly, I'd rather hang out with my girlfriends and do something than go out with guys because there's no drama.
Right.
You don't have to worry about
with your gals.
Got to be entertaining him, or if you're talking to somebody else and you're ignoring him or whatever, it's just forget it.
Yeah. Oh God, that makes me think of myself being insecure.
I'm a talker when I go out anyways, though. So I think Whitney's kind of used to it now. I'm a big people person. At first she thought I was like flirting with everybody, but as she just grown to know me and my character more, I think she's like, and she's a people person too. She loves to talk to people, but I never meet a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. My grandson, he asked me one day, I think we went to a doctor's office or somewhere, and I sat down and I'll start talking to people, We got in the car, and he said, how do you do that? I said, do what? He said, just talk to people. And I said, well, just sit down and strike up a conversation. I said, if you make a mess, you're not ever going to see him again, probably, so big deal.
Make up a cool story.
Yeah. You can be anyone you want right now.
Right,
That's the beauty.
Exactly. I don't know. I can't think of anything. Computers just drive me wild because they just do not get along with me. They hate me.
Why do you think? Do you just think it's just a lack of knowledge, or?
Well, no, I think they just hate me.
They are programmed to hate Redneck Rita.
My sister, she worked in IT. She's like, she'll tell me to do something. I'll say, how do you do so? She'll say, well, you do blah, this and this and this. I'm like, but then it's just the opposite when I'll tell her, like, she was going to pay somebody to put a toilet in her house. I said, don't pay somebody. I mean, it's not that hard. You shut the water off. You take these screws out. You put that. She said, you know what I heard? I said, what? She said, I heard blah, 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 blah. I said, that's what I hear when you go computers, You do what? Like, I was trying to download an app on my phone, and I was having a problem. My grandson says, do you want me to just do it for you? I said, yeah, here. So he does that, and he hands the phone back to me, and he says, push this button right here on the side. I said, just push this button? He said, yeah. And I said, well, why couldn't you do that? He said, because I don't have your face.
The face recognition. Yeah. My mom's she doesn't like computers, cell phones. She gets a little frustrated. But she was trying to print something over here the other day, and she was getting frustrated. I'm like, Mom, calm down. I think it stresses people out, and then they because you're smart. I'm sure we could figure it out. I'm sure Mom could figure it out. Maybe they just hate you. And maybe they just hate my mom. But if Mom just calms down a little bit, read what it says, you'll be fine.
Well, I do that, but when I was going to Daymar College, which I worked in a factory for 31 years, it went to Mexico. So I took advantage of the TRA program, went to college. They paid for my college, paid me unemployment while I went.
What degree did you get?
I got an associate's degree specializing in pharmacy technology. Oh, nice. Then I got a job as a pharmacy tech in the hospital. But we had to take a computer class. So I'm back there, and all the time I'm like, that the teacher says, this is what you have to do this quarter. I don't care when you get it done, as long as you get done by the end of the quarter. The next week, the girl next to me has all hers done. And I'm just doing my stuff in class. I ended up having to do...
one finger type?
No, I can type.
Ah, good.
But I had to end up doing stuff at home because I couldn't get it all done in class time. Yeah. But, I'm always like this.
Yeah.
The teacher says, somebody's going to lose an eye in here probably because of you. Well, I found an eye patch at my mom's. So one day he says, you doing okay? And I grabbed this out. I turned around and I said, yes. But, people come to help me and they go, I've never seen this before. I said, computers hate me.
Yeah. It's a different language.
Yeah.
Computer language is a totally different language. I had my brother, John Seth, he's like an ultra nerd. So he taught me everything I know about a computer.
There's some days where I call Jordan, I'm like, hey, I need your help with something.
And I think I've been exposed of not really knowing. I only know because John Seth taught me when I was a kid.
A lot of mine's self-taught. But, at work one day I called and I said, the printer's messed up. It's not working. And they said, did you recycle the power? And I said, what? Did you recycle the power? I said, what are you talking about? Turn it off and turn it back on. I'm like, well, why didn't you just say that?
Yeah, that language.
I think what's helped us is, like I've said before, it's like we grew up in a time where we didn't have these things.
Yeah.
We were in that transition period, and now we're here today with where it's at. So we were like here through it all, to where when you were younger,
We didn't have
it wasn't
computers.
existed, you know. And then when it came, you were probably already in your normal job and living life, and just it was brand new. So it's new, probably super expensive back then,
Right,
and so it just wasn't needed as much. And now it's like the AI stuff now is insane. Like you can tell this program I was looking at yesterday, like what my video is about. My video is about me and Jordan walking through the woods and we found a squirrel. It's going to write a whole description based off of keyword searches that people use in Google, and it's going to make a description of the video to be easier to be found. It's insane, the technology nowadays.
It's hard to know what's going to happen next, huh?
Rise of the machines.
Rise of the machines. Seriously, our evolution into a machine. That's what
cool.
I think.
You know, like my teacher used to say, can we use a calculator? You're not always going to have a calculator. You're wrong. I've got one now in my pocket.
Yeah,
And that's
all the time.
Yeah.
And they don't teach cursive. You know, I was talking to my aunt the other day, and she was talking about, I said, none of my grandkids can sign their name.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about Lex, the oldest one, but she's 18, so I'm going to say she probably can't either. She said, well, how are they going to sign a check? I said, they don't use checks.
Yeah.
Venmo, PayPal now. I mean,
I said, it's electronic signature. They type their name, say that's their signature, and that's it.
Thumbprint.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays they want to keep track of you, so they don't cursive. I mean, how many people have probably falsely signed things back in the day? Oh, God. Yeah. Exactly. I did.
I mean, I've signed my ex-husband's name lots of times. And, you know, we get a check or something, I'd sign his name, endorse it, and whatever, till like right before we got divorced, and I thought, I ain't signing nothing.
Yeah.
Mine was, when I say I got caught, it wasn't like by the FBI or anything.
Right,
it was just by my parents. Like, I got a note sent home from my teacher.
Oh, everybody's done that.
Yeah, and so I don't know why I thought this would be a good idea at the time, but I took it out of the same envelope that she sent me home with, and then I found something on my mom's or dad's. I traced it over the top, and then I put it back in the same envelope that she sent it home in. And I said, here you go. They read it. And then she's like, oh, did they? And she's like, okay, I was going to call them. I'm like, they probably won't answer. I'm thinking, oh, shit.
How old were you?
I was probably in 4th grade.
Okay, yeah. You weren't smart enough yet.
No, I'm barely there now.
Illegal activities.
Well, if you could leave us with something today, Rita, what would you leave us with, and what would you leave our listeners with as far as ways to improve on life or looking at life in a different way? What is some knowledge that you have?
You don't have to be anything big, just a singular thing that you think would be good for society to work on.
Just live life. Don't let life get in the way. I mean, just have a good time. There's so many people that are so stressed over this and this and this that they don't live.
Yeah.
You know, there are people that are afraid to live because they're afraid they're going to die. I mean, I've jumped out of airplanes. I've swam with sharks. Go out and do something.
What she's saying is she's a badass. How was jumping out of a plane? I've been debating on whether doing that.
It was awesome. Yeah, it's a funny thing, though.
Where'd you do it at?
In E-Town.
That's where my friend's been doing it, and I'm thinking about it.
I highly recommend it. My sister wanted to do it for her 60th birthday, so we did it, and we were sitting there, you know, for a long time. They said, y'all can go ahead and go get something to eat because it's probably going to be a couple hours before y'all are going to jump, you know, because you have to watch a video and all that kind of stuff. And it was a tandem jump. So we went and ate. We got a steak, and then we got ice cream because we thought if this is going to be our last meal, we're damn sure going to have ice cream. So we get back there, and we're just like,
oh, no.
And they go, okay, you're up next. I thought, oh, shit, I know I'm going to puke. You know, but we got up there. They put an altimeter on my arm and a GoPro.
What's the altimeter, like an altitude?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they said when the altimeter gets 6, then you can pull the cord. They give you the option to pull the cord, and if you don't pull it, they'll pull it.
You just sit there staring at it? That's what I would
Well, I mean, I'm going, woo, yeah. Then I'm talking to the camera. I've done forgot about this.
God.
I'm talking to the camera. Oh, this is so much fun. Everybody ought to do it. And all of a sudden it goes, oh, shit, I forgot to pull the cord.
The guy did? Oh, my God.
Thank God.
So I would have crashed probably.
Oh, my goodness. My friend Ashton, she's been like 5 or 6 times. I see her all the time now. She's like, just did my next jump. And you got to, I guess, do so many before you do it solo.
Yeah.
But all of hers been tandem. And It looks like a blast.
Oh, it is a blast. I mean, now, when you see your sister, she went first. When you see your sister fall out of a plane, though, it's kind of gets you right here. But then the guy said, you can back out until we get to the door, but when we get to the door, we're going. You sit in the door and you just fall out, and that first 30 seconds is you're just going like 100 miles an hour.
So I do want to ask, like, have you rode a roller coaster?
Oh, yeah.
So, when you get to that top of the hill and it drops, I've swam with sharks.
Really.
But when you get at the top of the hill and you drop, you get that like stomach, like that going over a hill feeling.
Right, yeah.
Is that the same feeling all the way down when you fall?
No, I mean, like initially you feel that. But
Okay.
I think, I don't really remember. I just remember such an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, that's what I've
It was
heard.
just like wide open. And then, when the parachute comes out, then they give you where you can guide it, you can turn it around and this and that and the other. And they do that for a while till, getting ready to land. And he'll say, give them to me. And then you go down, he'll say, keep your feet up. And we landed standing up. There was
That is insane.
There was a little gravel circle there. He said, see that down there? I said, yeah. And he said, that's where we're going to land. I'm like, really? And we did. I mean, they did a great job.
That's insane.
I highly recommend
They
it.
say if you're like super stressed out and like
you'll forget
your
about
anxiety and stuff, they say to go skydiving. And then when you get down, it's like all better. That's why she does it.
But when
My
you get
friend,
down,
yeah.
you're worn out. Because you know how when you get that big adrenaline,
yeah.
like you get
You're
scared or
exhausted.
something, you get that big adrenaline rush. And then when it's over, you're like,
Did you take a nap after?
probably. I love naps.
I do too.
They pissed me off.
Now we're talking my language.
Yeah.
It's a little more on my. I'm exhausted right now talking about
Me and
it.
the
I'm
dog, take a nap about every day.
Naps piss me
Are
off.
you a big like 30-minute only nap? Or
Oh,
you
no,
just
that
go
just
though?
pisses me off.
Oh, you're a not long napper.
Well, my son says that I don't nap, I sleep.
Right.
Because it might be 2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Now, my sister can lay down and take 30 minutes and she's ready to go. We went to Vegas and she had a conference. So me and another friend tagged along, She'd come in for a conference and she said, give me 30 minutes. I'm going to take a 30-minute nap and then we'll go do whatever. And 30 minutes, she wakes up in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was
do
going to
that
wake
now.
up in 30 minutes, I'd have to set the clock.
Well, they say, right, you get in your REM cycle after 30 minutes. So that's
Yeah.
why you get groggy after 30 minutes.
See, I
You're
have sleep
supposed
apnea,
to.
so I don't get in that unless I've got that mask on.
How's that?
I'm trying to get that Inspire implant, so I don't have to wear the mask.
Dang, they implant something and you don't have to have a mask anymore? Wow.
They put this thing under your skin here, and it attaches to the muscles to your tongue. And
Your tongue's all the way back there?
well, the muscles are.
Interesting.
So what
Half
closes
cyborg.
your airway? I had to go for a test.
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
when you lay back, your tongue falls back and closes your airway.
Interesting.
Well, yeah, I guess
Because
so.
I had to have an endoscopy, a sleep-induced endoscopy, for them to see how my throat closed up.
Interesting.
Because they said 90% of the people, your tongue falls back to your palate.
Yeah.
It closes up. But he said there's 10% of people that their
And that's
throats-
what causes you to snore?
Yeah, that's what cuts your air off. He said 10% of the people, their throats close like a camera shutter.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
that wouldn't help that wouldn't help it. But he said, I had to do a sleep study, and which I'd had one years ago because put me on CPAP, but I had to have another one for Medicare to pay for it.
interesting.
And I went in and they said, they put all this stuff on your head and your face and your arms, and your legs and everything. And then, they're looking at you and they expect you to go to sleep.
Right.
And I said,
Ain't no way.
I said, are you going to give me something to help me sleep? Because the first one, they gave me an Ambien. And I didn't drive the car or kill nobody or nothing, while I was
I
on
heard
it.
those put you out.
Yeah. But she said, oh, no, we want you to sleep just like you do at home. And I said, well, I usually sleep naked. How's that? But anyway, the doctor said I quit breathing 32
I
times.
thought you were talking about the doctor whenever you were sleeping naked
No.
or something.
No, when I went back
Took his
to
breath away.
Yeah. He said you quit breathing 32 times in an hour for 10 seconds or longer, sometimes as long as 20 seconds.
Wow, that's a
He
little
said
scary.
he said that'll kill you.
Yeah.
That's shorten your. I saw talking to my mom. They're saying like one of the biggest factors of how long someone will live is their breathing. Like people's breathing patterns. If they have bad breathing patterns, you'll shorten your life a ton.
And see, I had AFib, and I think actually my sleep apnea probably caused that. But
that's
so
what I've
anyway,
heard.
I've done all my tests. got a call, do a televisit this week, and hopefully they've got it scheduled and I get that done. But what that thing does is you get a remote control, you click it, it turns it on, it pushes your tongue forward, and then you can sleep.
Will you feel it?
Well, they say some people might feel a slight sensation, but it's better than that mask going and making your nose sore and all that. So we'll see. I mean, I'm
coming to Cyborg.
Yeah.
Joining the computers.
Well, we appreciate you coming. I appreciate you coming. I'm glad we got to meet you.
I am
too. I think you're going to go great places just by you're funny. You have some knowledge.
I think you're right where you need to be right now.
You're more of a man than I am, and Jordan. And honestly, if you guys haven't heard of Redneck Rita, you will be hearing about Redneck Rita very shortly, I think. She's got a good thing going.
Do you have any social medias that you would want to share? Do you want to share your personal? I don't know if it's your personal or if you want it.
I have a TikTok account.
Okay.
And Instagram. And I have some clips of some of my comedy on there.
And what's your username?
Redneck Rita.
Just Redneck Rita. Just is that an underscore?
It may be Rita K Beach, but I think one of them is Redneck Rita.
Okay. All right.
We'll pop them
up in the description or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
But thank you so much for having me. I've enjoyed
absolutely.
it. This is my first podcast, but I like it. So
well,
great.
This is our first woman on the show.
Yeah.
Well,
Third
besides
guest.
us.
Yeah, that's just true. That's true, actually.
Besides
we did dress
us.
up as women once.
We did. We'll have to show you that
We'll
one
show
too.
you that
sometime.
one later, yeah.
But we appreciate you. It's been fun. It's been cool to have a comedian on the show. We've just had the musicians here. So you're our first comedian, our first female, and probably the first person that actually knows a little bit about life.
Yep. Amen. Amen.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Well, before we go, do you got anything?
I don't think so. I think that's about it for me.
All right. Will you rate us on our outfits real quick?
I don't have a cigarette in my hand.
10.
10? All right.
See, I went with
Def Leppard fan?
a more Def Leppard because I figured that's what my redneck stepdad used to listen to. And then obviously
I had my woman cut the shirt up today.
You got your, what's his name? Get her done.
Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah.
I didn't think I actually got a trucker hat.
Well, whether we're men, women, country, or city folk, at the end of the day, just remember, I'm Daniel.
I'm Jordan.
And I'm Redneck Rita.
And we're Daniel and Jordan.
Jordan.
We'll see you next time.
Latro.